Bershus Merona Varabonon, Kvoid Moron, Hamashgiach Shlita, Roshi Yeshivas, Rabbonim Kahal Kodosh, Achroinim Chavivim, all these wonderful young B'nai Torah, Talmida HaYeshivas. Ashreinu Ma Toiv Chelkeinu, Ashrei Hu'am Shekocho Loi. What a beautiful moment of Kavod HaTorah. What a beautiful expression of Simchas HaTorah. Ashreinu. What brought us all together? What brought all these Gedolim to come from far away from Eretz Yisrael, and to some it is Mesirus Nefesh Mamash. At an advanced age, close your Gemara, make this tremendous effort for weeks. What brought us all together is the danger, the concern for the Osid of Klal Yisrael, the future of Torah in Eretz Yisrael. Let me tell you a story I've told many times in recent years. A story about my late father, Zeichet Tzadik Levracha, and my great Rebbe, Zeichet Tzadik V'Kodesh Levracha. Both were survivors. My father lost the very first day he arrived in Auschwitz, Yom Aleph Shel Chodesh Shavuos, 1944. He arrived with his entire family. And that very first day, his grandparents, his parents, 5 out of 8 siblings were sent directly to the gas chambers and the crematoria. My Rebbe, the Heilige Kloisenberger Rebbe Zeichet Tzadik V'Kodesh Levracha, arrived 1 day later, second day Shavuos. That very same day, his Rebbetzin and 10 out of 11 children were sent directly to the gas chambers and the crematoria. B'nai HaBechor, his oldest child, whose name was Lipa, he was Babes Einoi, the apple of his eye, and he died a week after the war was over from typhus. My father heard that the great Rebbe arrived at his one barracks next to where my father was staying. My father sneaked out in the middle of the night into the next building, and that was putting your life in jeopardy, because the Nazis in the watchtowers, if they would see any Jew roaming the premises in the middle of the night, they would shoot to kill. And in the morning, my father approached the Rebbe, and he said to him, it would mean so much to me to get to know the Rebbe, to be close to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe frowned down on him, and he said, the mindset that Rebbe is helfen, said the Gornish helfen. If you think it's going to do you good, what good would it do you to know me? And my father responded, of course it's going to do me good, because we could talk in learning. We can reden in learning. And the Rebbe was taken aback, and he said, Bocha, bist in Auschwitz, and you want to talk in learning? And my father said, of course I do. Because otherwise, how will we prevail? How will we prevail? How will we make it if we don't talk and learn? The Rebbe was moved. He gave him a big hug. And they talked and learning for the next 12 months since the war was over. till the war was over. And they talked in learning for the next 50 years, till the end of the Chaim of the Rebbe's days. And whenever I tell the story, I say, what my father felt intuitively in the depth of his heart as an 18-year-old yeshiva bocher. It is what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai felt 2,000 years earlier. And as Chazal tell the story in Masechet Gittin, Bizman Churban Habayis, and the Godel Ador Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made an effort to get out of the Chaimis Yerushalayim and to talk, to negotiate with the Roman commander, Aspasianus Caesar, known as Vespasian. And when he finally gets to see the Roman, miraculously, the Roman commander develops a liking to this Talmid Chochem, a Yiddish Talmid Chochem. And he says, I just received a notice, the emperor died in Rome, and they're calling me back. And they want to appoint me as the emperor. Make a wish, and it will be granted. We all remember what was the first wish of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Ten li Yavne v'chachomeha. And some of the other Gedolim were disappointed. And they said, you should have asked for the Beis HaMikdash. But Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai knows the Ruach HaKodesh, that the Beis HaMikdash is doomed. It is not to be. He also knows that the only guarantee for the Osid of Klal Yisrael is Yavne v'chachomeha. Without Yavne v'chachomeha, we have no future, we have no present, we have no life. Yavne v'chachomeha is what keeps us going. And my father, as a young boy, said, if we don't talk and learning, how will we prevail? We cannot exist without Yavne v'chachomeha. The yeshiva is our lifeline, and the Torah is the oxygen in our lungs. And we have no future without Yavne v'chachomeha. And today, Yavne v'chachomeha is in danger, is in jeopardy. And the yeshivas in Eretz Yisrael are struggling. And there are hundreds, thousands of Talmidei Chachamim, and their livelihood is in danger. So what brought us all together at this momentous event, it is two words, Yavne v'chachomeha. And our concern, our daiga for Klal Yisrael, for Torah and the entire world, because the center of Torah is in Eretz Yisrael. It is Yavne v'chachomeha. And that is what brought us all together. We can't live without yeshivas. And Jewish history teaches us, wherever they were yeshivas, Yiddishkeit flourished and blossomed and developed. Where there were no yeshivas, we always withered away. And the very first Yid was the very first Rosh Yeshiva. The Gemara says in Yom Chov Ches, Avram Zokan v'Yoshev v'Yeshiva, Yitzchak Zokan v'Yoshev v'Yeshiva, Yaakov Zokan v'Yoshev v'Yeshiva, u'miyamehem shel avoseinu lo posku yeshiva mehem. Yordu leBavel yeshiva imohem. Yordu leMitzrayim yeshiva imohem. Because without yeshivas, we have no life. Es Yehuda Sholach Lefonav, Kosev Rashi, Letakel Loi Beis Talmud. I wasn't there. But I imagine what followed. Yehuda protests, and he says, Kaya Letata, Avinu. We have such a wonderful experience. Could you imagine Yaakov Avinu with his 12 gewaldige children making a journey? Yaakov teaches them the daf every day. They talk and learning. And Yaakov tells Yehuda, you run ahead as a scout. Letaken loy base Talmud. And Yudah says, Abba, you know you can trust me. We'll get there. I'll open a besmedrish for you. Why do I need to run ahead alone? We're all together. And Yaakov Avinu says, Yehuda, b'ni hayokol, you don't understand. I will not set foot in a town if there is no koilel waiting for me. We'll get there, that's late. No, I trust you. I'm sure you're going to do it. I will not set foot in a town unless there's a koilel there waiting for me. We get there. I want to be smedrish as Yehuda Shorof Lefonav. That is the yeshiva, and that is Yavne v'Chachameo. And that is why all these Gedolim sitting on my right and on my left made this tremendous effort, b'mesiras nefesh, to be here with you. And you give us so much chizik. It is not only we giving you chizik, but to see the love, the dedication, the devotion of Klal Yisrael, the Kol Atar v'Atar. You understand that you rise to the challenge of Yavne v'Chachameo. I said it on the Sifa before. Yavne v'Chachameo belongs to all of us, not only to the rich and the wealthy. Yavne v'Chachameo is a responsibility of every Yid, because we all know that is where our heart is. That is what gives us life. So this challenge of Keren Olam Hatorah is not only to the few, it is to the many. Yehi Ratzon. We should be zoich the schus of Talmud Torah.
No singing. Everybody stay quiet as the drink comes in.
No singing.
We should be zoich lebias Moshiach tzedkenu. And we all on Makabel Ponim Becher des Kodesh Lemoron Rabbeinu Hagadol Rosh Yeshivas Slobodka.